Hey guys, Mark here, hope you're all well today. Well, as promised, I've got an owner's review of my Kawasaki Ninja ZX-6R. This is the KRT edition. Now, for those that have already seen my review on this a few months ago, I reviewed this and I fell in love with it so much that about a week later I went back to the dealership and I bought one. And yes, this is my own personal motorbike. I've had it for about 6 weeks now, just turned 1,000 miles, and it has been absolutely fantastic. You know, what a fun machine. I can't rate it highly enough. So I won't go over old ground. If you need to see all the full details on this, see my other video. I'll put a link in the description. What we'll do is we'll hop on, go for about 10 miles, and then we'll have a walk round at the end, and I can tell you all my sort of thoughts about it, what I found I like about it, which is pretty much everything. So we're here in sunny south of England, county of Dorset. So as I say, I've been really into adventure tourers really over the past few years. I was a sports bike guy in my 30s and got into more tourers and adventure tourers, and started reviewing bikes and that, and then I took this bad boy out for a demo ride and a review, and I absolutely fell in love with it so much that I'm back into sports bikes again. It's great fun. So this bike's had its first service, which is basically just an oil change and a check, and that was all absolutely fine. I've come out super early this morning to beat all the traffic, which is lovely. So for those of you that know the Ninja 600 or 636, it's been out for a long time now, and there's been many different models of it. This is probably one of the best ones ever made. It's got the 636 engine with a claimed 130 PS engine, about 128 horsepower, and these engines put out about 115 horsepower at the rear wheel. So for a 600 class motorcycle, it's very powerful. And the thing that strikes me about this bike is Kawasaki have lowered the gearing by a tiny bit for this model year, and it's really made it incredibly eager to rev and very, very flexible. You just won't believe how this thing pulls from low revs. So I say we're in top gear now. If I take this thing right down, 30 miles an hour, open it up, and it just pulls really strong right up to the legal limit, and that's top gear. So you'd never think a 600 could be this torquey with so much pull from low down, but it really is. It's not a peaky machine in the slightest. So let's just run through the bike. So the mirrors are quite good, you see a bit of your elbows, but it's typical sort of sports bike really. The screen is a little low, that's my only gripe with it. I may get a double bubble screen, but you can easily overlook that because this bike is so much fun to ride. The engine is the star of the show. This thing absolutely flies. If you listen to this. See what I mean? It's absolutely begging to be put on a racetrack, and I've actually going to do a couple of track days on it this year, hopefully. Now initially the suspension when I bought the bike I thought was a little stiff for the road, but since it's sort of run in and bedded in a bit, it's really, really good. The bump management is excellent, but it still remains really stiff, composed. Round the corners it really holds its line well. Absolutely no faults whatsoever with its suspension. It's top quality Showa, big piston forks on the front, and boy oh boy do they give feedback round the corners. Standard tyres on this Bridgestone S22, and I absolutely can't fault them. One of the best road tyres I've ever tried, and they get warm really quickly. After just about 10 minutes they're up to temperature. So the riding position is typical sporty, you know, weight on your wrists. So I'm only 5'7", and it fits me nicely. As long as you're going 60 odd miles an hour or more, you know, all the weight is taken off your wrists. Around town is a bit of a pain, but I just try and keep away from town. This is a bike built for Sunday morning thrashes, and just having fun basically. Another thing which is amazing on this bike is the brakes. They're Nissan monoblocks, radial mounted, and I'll just show you how strong these brakes are. 60 miles an hour. Wow, I'm nearly over the front then. In terms of power, if ever you've tried Brembo M50s before, they're about 80% as powerful as Brembo M50s. So they are eye-poppingly powerful, these brakes. Seat's a little bit hard, but again, I've ridden it for 2 hours without a brake while I've had it, and it was not really that bad at all. So, you know, this is no touring machine. I wouldn't want to go touring on it, but just for sheer utter fun, it can't be beaten. Miles per gallon, it's currently showing about 46. I'm getting around about 145 miles to a tank full, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's just the sound this thing makes. Listen to this. It's just all Kawasaki's have like this fantastic induction roar that just screams up at you from the airbox. It's absolutely fabulous. Another thing I like about this bike is the throttle is old-fashioned cables to the butterflies, and it's got a really nice weight to it, so it's none of this ride-by-wire, which is great, but ride-by-wire throttles are very vague, I find. This has a really good feel to the throttle. Incredibly flickable, very, very light feeling bike, doesn't feel heavy at all when you ride it. But it's just so smooth. I mean, I've had this bike at all revs, right to the red line, and there's nowhere in the rev range, even up to sort of 15,000 RPM, I can vouch for this. There's no nasty tingles that makes your fingers go numb or anything like that. So it's a super smooth quality piece of kit. So here we are, 30 mile an hour zone at the moment, 4th gear, and it's just so tractable and smooth. So the leg position, typical sports bike, quite well bent up. They're not back at all, they're just directly under your hip line, my feet, and it's okay. I've not had any problems with pain in my legs or anything like that, so that's all good. One thing I do absolutely love on this bike is the whole dash. It's not TFT, it's good old-fashioned LCD, but it's absolutely everything you need to know there. Fuel gauge, miles per gallon, you've got your power modes, traction control. And I nearly forgot to mention, this thing has a quick shifter which works on the up only, and it is so slick. Banging it up through the gearbox is fantastic, the noise it makes. So all in all, guys, I'm really, really over the moon with this bike. Very, very pleased that I bought it. So these come in at about £9,500 here in the UK. Suzuki have stopped making the ZX-6R 600. Triumph have stopped making the Daytona 675. You've got the Yamaha R6, but that's a whopping £2,000 more money than this, and it's a bit less power. So you've also got Honda's CBR 650, which comes in at a very reasonable 7,700, but that's a bit of a softer option with around about 90 horsepower. Still a great bike, but this is definitely in another level. This is a lot more focused. So as I say, cornering is fabulous on this bike. It's just the engine is so eager. I don't think I've ever owned a bike which revs as fast as this. You've got LED front headlights, which are very, very bright. I have taken it out at night. Service intervals on these now are up to about 7,500 miles, which is really good. They used to be about 4,000, I think, which was a bit low. So it's all good on the service front. Yeah, so I'm very pleased with the suspension on this. I was thinking it was going to be a bit hard for UK bumpy roads, but it's actually perfect. So it's just a quick review, guys. I say if you want to see my other review, that's like a first impressions, check that out. But yeah, she's a keeper, definitely. So yeah, it goes into neutral so easily. I'll just leave her running so you can get a bit of a noise test on her. So this is an inline 4 636cc. I may get an aftermarket can for it in the future, but we'll see about that. Only additions I've done, I've put a tail tidy on because they have the horrendous thing that comes out there, so that's all neat. That's an R&G. I put R&G crash bungs on it. I fitted them myself, and up in there it's got an R&G radiator guard. So I'll just give you a little look of her. So there's the front. I mean, a lot of people have mixed opinions on this new model. Some people like the looks of it. I personally think it looks amazing. Some people prefer the look of the model before this. But basically, they're the same engine. So there's those amazingly powerful Nissan brakes. Running on pedal discs. You've got 120 front and 180 rear tyres. I think it's about 196 kilos wet, if I remember. So there's your quick shifter, which works on the up only. Really, really nice brace swing arm, amazingly rigid. Show you how it pushes around. It's quite easy. Could easily push this around in your garage. It's very light off the side stand. And I'll just show you what the seat height's like. I think it's quite about 840mm this seat height. Now, say I'm an average height guy, 5'7", 30-inch inside leg, and with boots on which have got an inch heel, my legs are flat to the floor. Okay, so if you're about 5'5", 5'4", you're going to be really tiptoes on this. Bigger guys, you know, 6 foot plus guys might find this whole bike a little bit cramped because it's quite a sort of a small little area here, but I think you'll make do with it because it's so much fun to ride. It really is. It's an absolute blast. So these are your Showa big piston forks. You've got the preload on one side on the top, and compression rebound on the other side, which is quite nice. Another thing I absolutely love is, which more manufacturers would do this, fully adjustable clutch with a super light pull on. This is Kawasaki's assist clutch, which is really, really light. It's got a beautiful take, bite's really close, fully adjustable, which is really nice. That. Not much space under the seat, I'm afraid. Underneath there you've got your servo, which does the exhaust valve. It's a tiny, tiny little toolkit. That's about it, really. So as I say, practicalities wise, you haven't got much on this bike. But the fit and finish of this bike is first class. I've spent a lot of time cleaning it in the time I've had it. And I can't see any wear on it at all, which is poorly made. It's really like all the fasteners, everything, the way it's all put together is first class in my opinion. So there you go, guys. That's my Ninja 636 2019 model. Very, very pleased with it. Just can't wait to take it onto a track now and really open it right up. And hope you enjoyed that. Please post any questions or comments, and like and share, subscribe, and I'll catch you all again soon. Cheers, all the best, bye bye.